My name is Rich Loughlin. I'm Chief Commercial Officer for CMIC CMO USA, and I'm here today at Contract Pharma at in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Today, a trend that is gaining momentum is continuous process manufacturing. It's something that began probably 15 to 20 years ago in the pharmaceutical industry, long before that in other industries like oil and gas. But the issue to date in pharmaceuticals has been the regulatory issue of how will regulators approve drugs that are made using continuous manufacturing versus batch. So it's a challenge that's being faced, but the FDA seems to have their arms around it, and they're beginning to approve drugs. I believe there's about 16 drugs that have been approved already using continuous process. What continuous process does is it offers tremendous advantages in terms of cost because your throughput is now continuous, so the equipment uses a smaller footprint, so you need a smaller facility. And you're running the equipment continuously, so you're getting cost efficiencies associated with that. There's been challenges in terms of technology, but it's been around now probably for 15 years. So you can get access to people who are trained in it and provide expertise as well. So it seems to be a growing area. It's, again, interesting. If I think about the case study on continuous, big pharma or sponsors have taken the lead in continuous process manufacturing because it is highly capital intensive. So it's been difficult to get contractors engaged in it without the promise of commercial business. At CMIC, we've taken a different approach. And I'll share some of that in a while of how we've addressed what you might think of the pitfalls. But this technology also includes things like PAT systems for process analytical techniques and controls. So not only can it reduce costs, but it can improve the quality of products that are manufactured. And that could be very significant as we look at reshoring as well, pharmaceuticals, if you think about how you respond to biosecure and things like that, this will give you quality, better cost, better able to compete against foreign nations who are making products today for the U.S. In addition to continuous manufacturing, artificial intelligence is beginning to be considered. It's really at its infancy, and again, I think what slows things down in the pharmaceutical industry is the regulatory aspect. Is how do you deal with that? If the FDA isn't accustomed to approving drugs based on certain platforms, then sponsors are unwilling to engage in it because they feel there's a risk in their drug being approved. So it almost forces you to stay with what's been tried and true as opposed to being innovative. We're trying to break that mold and bring innovation in for some of the reasons I mentioned. We're really looking at how do you do things better, less expensive. If you think of all of the national issues on pharmaceuticals, the cost to patients is excessive. Because price controls have been placed on products, and they're informal price controls, but PBMs really do put pressure on companies to manage price and keep prices low. And this has adversely affected the generics industry, where what's happened is generic companies do not want to make generic products anymore. And as a result, those drugs are ending up on the drug shortage list. And if you ask the FDA what's the reason on the drug shortage list, they'll say it's related to quality. But if you take a step back and you think about what's leading to the poor quality, in many cases it's due to not enough revenue stream to support a high quality organization. So If we can address that through technology, I think that's the wave of the future. I think it would help address drug prices to patients, as well as put a reduced number of products on the shortage list. In October of 2023, CMIC signed an agreement with Rutgers University, who was an innovator in continuous process manufacturing. They've been doing it on the Rutgers campus for about 15 years. We were successful at CMIC convincing Rutgers that they should move their development center from the Rutgers campus to the CMIC campus, and that move has taken place. What this will be, to our knowledge, is the first place in the world where you will be able to do development work on continuous process manufacturing and CGMP commercial activity, clinical and commercial activities, in a single facility. That helped CMIC address the know-how issue in terms of how to develop products and make them using continuous process. But what it didn't do is help us with the equipment. And equipment is very expensive, as I mentioned, and companies hesitate. So we were able to do a deal with a leading manufacturer, global manufacturer of process equipment, who were just introducing a new second generation line of continuous process equipment. And they're going to be installing that equipment in CMIC in January of this year. And we're just in the final stages of the negotiation and signing the agreement with them. So I can't mention the company's name, but they are a leader in process equipment. So that will give CMIC the opportunity to both have the know-how through the relationship with Rutgers and the equipment from the equipment manufacturer, that in January 2025 we'll be able to start doing some development work and transfer activities on development of continuous process products.